So K-State lands a JUCO prospect. And look, nothing against this kid at all. I think a lot of our frustration with this is that it's going to be somebody that can't play because of an injury. So Stephen Osei is who K-State lands, JUCO big, Casper College. He is the 10th player on this roster, assuming that Tyreek Smith gets approved for an extra year of eligibility, which, maybe that's something else that we can talk about at some point, whether or not that's going to happen. This is not somebody that I think any of us viewed as like a high impact guy anyway, but now it appears by all accounts, DY, you can expand more on this, but that he is going to redshirt this year in part, at least because of an injury. So hard to get too fired up about that. And you just wonder a little bit what the plan is, because you're looking around at the roster saying, man, I mean, you need impact players. Like they still need at the very least one impact guy, hopefully two, maybe three. And now you're taking up one of the last couple of scholarships that you would have if you're going to 13, which I guess it could extend past that. But one of the last scholarships that you have here was somebody who's not, like, literally will not be able to be used this year.
Yeah, I mean, 10 if Tyreek Smith, they have 10 if Tyreek Smith gets his waiver or gets another year of eligibility. I don't know if they're even at the waiver process anymore. 11, assuming Elias Repeek is in the fold. 12, assuming Marcus Johnson announces here pretty soon the transfer from Bowling Green. And if you're beholding yourself to 13, which was originally the plan that I think was agreed on by both Jerome Tang and Gene Taylor, then you'll have one spot left. So I'll be honest, maybe I can be convinced otherwise if and when it gets explained. But when you're maybe up against the number a little bit here with potentially only one spot remaining, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me when you still need guys that can really go out and produce to bring in a guy that can't really play his first year on campus.
Yeah, I mean, Osei's a luxury ad if you feel like you have the roster in a good place and you can take a stab at a flyer on a guy and redshirt him because you like his potential.
Yeah, his tape's not bad. It's just I don't know if you can take anyone that can't play right now.
Yeah, you can't take a guy that's going to redshirt with the roster that we're looking at on paper right now. We do think Marcus Johnson's going to commit to K-State. By the time you're listening to this show, the Bowling Green transfer very well may have committed to K-State. So you add him, Repeek, we think is in the fold. We are at 12 fulfilled scholarships in all likelihood when you factor in everything else. And so, where are the playmakers? There's not enough playmaking ability on this roster currently. It just feels like a bunch of misfits kind of right now when I look at it. And you need a stud. We've been talking about it. They got to land in the last couple of spots, a couple of dudes, and now they take Osei, which to me feels like a 14th type scholarship ad. But to your point again, DY, they've said they're going to go to 13 scholarships. Now it sounds like maybe they're discussing, they could extend beyond that, but we don't have any intel necessarily as to where that might go. But like, to me, this only makes sense if, you're going to a 14th scholarship and you can take a flyer on a guy like Osei. Otherwise, you don't have enough guys that can contribute right away. You got too many guys on this roster that aren't going to be able to help you next season. And it's not going to cut it.
I guess to play devil's advocate here, is this like credence to the Houston comment? Like, hey, we're trying to go the Houston model and keep guys around and be a developmental program. And so you want to take a guy or two like this just to have them be there to come up through the pipeline.
They've taken guys like this before. That's not really the issue. The issue is their ability to retain guys. So I don't think this really reflects of the Houston model. They're not going to be reflective of the Houston model until they're able to actually keep guys at the end of the season, because didn't Byfall just basically not play for how many games so he could redshirt and then he left anyways?
I mean, it feels like Byfall, and this guy isn't a McDonald's All-American. He's a JUCO big, but he's a 6'11" big, 210 pounds, originally from Canada, and it does kind of feel like that. I mean, they did it with Byfall, but then they also, moved on from McGee, the incoming freshman, to create more space to assemble a roster, and he would have been a redshirt type candidate. And now you go and get this guy who's a redshirt type candidate, and I don't know. I don't know. It feels like too much pivoting, constant pivoting on what the plan is going to be. And I'm not in the meeting rooms with those guys and the staff. Maybe they have something lined out here. Maybe there's a dude that they think they're going to get in on and that they're going to land in a Haggerty or, somebody like that here to close out the portal class to where everybody would feel a lot better about it. But as we sit today, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had forgotten about they kicked a freshman to the curb, and not just for a redshirt candidate, Cole. I mean, a guy who that was in the Tipton Post, right? That he was going to redshirt when it came out. So it's not a redshirt candidate; it is a guaranteed redshirt guy. There was at least, I guess, a chance with a freshman that he would come in and impress,
right,
and be able to play.
That kind of screams to me, and I could be wrong. Like we don't have all of the answers. We're just trying to speculate, to be fair. But it kind of screams to me when you kind of make that decision on McGee, but then still take a guy like Osei anyways, is that they basically decided that they needed to take someone like Osei, who was basically another McGee, because they didn't get or weren't fulfilling what they originally thought they could when they kind of encouraged McGee to leave, right? It seems like whatever vision they had when they encouraged McGee to leave never came to light.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably true. They probably thought they needed to open up some space because they thought they had some opportunities that they didn't get fulfilled. Like when you look at the overall roster, and the guys that they brought in the portal, they're relying on a lot of guys to transfer up that haven't played at the high major basketball level in their careers. I mean, you've got, assuming Marcus Johnson is in, you've got a Bowling Green transfer. You've got an Akron transfer in Nate Johnson, Munn transfer, an Abdi Bashir, McGriff coming from UNC Wilmington. Then you got a JUCO coming in. And then you got 2 Europeans who honestly might have went up against the best competition out of all those guys that played at the lower major, mid-major basketball schools that we just named off, especially Rapik, who's in the higher level Euro League, but Kostic possibly as well. But those are two guys that haven't played college basketball. It's going to be a new culture shift for them. And so there's nobody at the high major level that's been in a Power 4, Power 6 hoops league that's had success, that they have brought in through the portal in this class. And then you're looking at David Castillo having to make a huge jump from really struggling last year. Zay Wilson, an incoming freshman guard, having to potentially make an impact as well. It doesn't feel that encouraging, guys.